Have you ever wondered what would have happened if Isagi had Metavision before even entering bluelock? How overpowered would he be, and how much easier would his path to becoming the best striker be? Continue watching this video to find out. But what if I told you that Isagi actually had Metavision since the start? He was just doing it subconsciously. There are numerous instances wherein he used it prior to the Neo Egoist League, such as when he could smell goals like the dog that he is, and during his shot against Japan's U20. Cut to a flashback scene of Isagi as a child, where he discovers his Metavision for the first time. He is playing with a group of kids on the dirt field, and he suddenly sees the field light up with lines and arrows, showing him the movements of the other players. Isagi wonders what he is witnessing, as he can see everything so clearly. Isagi starts to move in and sync with the lines and arrows, dodging other players effortlessly and making precise passes. A few years pass by, wherein Isagi is playing on a high school football team. He is struggling to keep up with the other players, often getting knocked over or missing passes. In reality, it's a bit different. Even with his Metavision, he still has to work hard to keep up with everyone else. It's not a magic power that guarantees success. The coach calls a timeout, and Isagi goes to sit on the bench. Feeling frustrated, the coach asks Isagi what's going on as he isn't playing up to his potential. Isagi says that he can see everything clearly, but he still can't keep up with everybody else. So his coach asks him how he is actually using his Metavision. This confuses Isagi, but then his coach makes him reflect. Are you seeing what's happening on the field? Or are you analyzing it? Are you looking for patterns in your opponent's movements, or ways to exploit their weaknesses? Isagi realizes that he has not been using his Metavision to full effect. He needs to use it more strategically. It then cuts to a scene of Isagi practicing alone on the field. He is using his Metavision to analyze his own movements, looking for areas where he can improve. He realized that his Metavision is not just a tool to see what's happening around him. It's also a way to analyze his own movements, to make sure that he is always in the right position. Cut to a montage of Isagi playing in various matches, using his Metavision to great effect. He is able to anticipate opponents' movements before they even make them, making precision passes and scoring goals. With Metavision, Isagi was able to see the game in a whole new way. He could quickly identify his opponent's strengths and weaknesses, and adjust his own movements accordingly. Isagi's Metavision had given him the edge he needed to succeed. But there were still many challenges ahead. Would the side effects of Metavision come back to bite him? Do not forget to like and subscribe to let me know that you want more content like this going. I am on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so please help me out as it really gives me motivation to pump out more videos like these for you guys. We are now brought back to the start of episode 1, the National High School Football Qualifiers taking place between Ichinan High School and Matsukaze High School, with the current score being 0-1 in favor of Kira and Matsukaze High School. With Isagi's team being down 1, he finally decides to use his Metavision throughout the rest of the game. He passes instantly to his teammate Tama without any hesitation. As his teammate starts to get flocked by a group of defenders, he passes a route that would get him open to score a goal. He calls for the ball back as soon as he is wide open. Tama passes the ball back to Isagi, and we eventually avoid this scenario right here. The score is now tied 1-1. However, Kira is still optimistic that his team can still win the game. He makes a couple of 1-2 passes with his teammates, but it is then intercepted by Isagi, who saw the whole play coming from a mile away. Isagi then heads towards the other side and scores the winning goal as they qualify for the Nationals. Kira is then upset and is having a crisis on whether he made the right play or not. Here, we can see that Kira doesn't really have that egocentrism in him and believes in team play. Despite this match's result, they are both still invited to the Blue Lock project. As the next day comes, Isagi arrives at the Japan Football Union building and encounters Kira. Immediately, Isagi recognizes Kira and talks to him. Isagi says that he remembers him since he is quite a player, since Kira was the only one who scored the only goal for their team. Isagi says to him that he has an impressive field perspective and high football IQ, but mentions that sometimes he has to be a bit selfish when it comes to certain situations. Upon entering the facility, Isagi and Kira saw several players also waiting in the area. Then, Igo Jinpachi appears and begins his speech. He tells the players that they are chosen based on his criteria alone. Igo says that the losing player's football career is over whenever they lose. Igo further emphasizes that if anyone manages to defeat all 299 players and be the last one remaining, the last player standing will become the best striker in the world. Shocked by what Igo said, Kira disagrees and says that their current teams are their priority. He states that he cannot accept those terms mentioned. After Kira voiced his opinions, all the other players agreed except for Isagi, who wasn't surprised by what he said. As the gates were opened, Isagi was still the first one to enter without any hesitation. Igo then announces a game of tag where the time limit is 136 seconds and whoever is it when the timer runs out will be removed from the team. The first it is the lowest among the team, which is Gurimo Igarashi. In this case, the rankings would be different with Isagi moving to the number 1 spot in Team Z and Kira at number 2, while the rest of the rankings follow. The game of tag will provide Igo a great insight on the selfishness lurking behind the strikers. The first half of what happens in tag would just be the same as what actually happened in the manga up until right before Isagi gets hit by Kunigami. So instead of Igarashi headlocking Isagi, he headlocks Kira instead. This time, Kira gets hit and becomes the it. Kira tries to get payback by targeting Igarashi. Bachira is then launched by Kunigami and this leads to Igarashi spraining his ankle once again. Kira thinks about tagging Igarashi or not, since he wanted to get Isagi eliminated instead after losing to him. So deep inside, he has some hard feelings. However, Bachira intervenes and steals the ball from him and says that he shouldn't go for somebody weaker than him. Bachira then chases Isagi, but he senses an aura of rage coming from Kira, and so he passes it to Kira, hoping to eliminate Isagi. Kira then looks at the ball in the air, thinking whether or not getting revenge on Isagi is the right thing to do. But then Isagi sees the play coming and comes up right as the ball is about to reach Kira. He then intervenes and uses his direct shot to hit Kira right in the face. Bachira is then surprised as he realizes that Isagi was the monster all along. As the whistle blows, Isagi then tells Kira that his hesitation and underdeveloped ego is what got him eliminated. He not only hesitated once, but twice in this game of tag, wherein he had multiple chances to survive. So yes, Isagi makes Kira his pet once again, especially with the use of Metavision. Now moving on to the first selection. Team Z eventually becomes undefeated. I will not be going into much detail about each match, so I don't end up spending around 30 minutes talking about how Isagi embarrasses the rest of the teams. I will say though, that Baro and Team X would still be the team that gives Team Z a run for their money. Baro's individual skills and unpredictability would counter Isagi's defensive Metavision, especially since Isagi was overwhelmed by Baro's level 0 team play. However, the offensive side of his Metavision would make up for it, and set not only himself up, but his teammates as well for success. This overusage of Metavision would lead to Isagi being fatigued mid-game, and he would have to rely more on his teammates such as Kunigami, who uses his powerful left-footed mid-range shot. Isagi then realizes that he is not capable of using Metavision too much as it takes a really heavy toll on him. Regarding the match between Team Z and Team Y, I believe that it won't really make a big difference, especially with Nico's vision that may slightly counter Isagi's plays at first. However, the outcome would essentially just remain the same. Therefore, we get to see this scene once again. Now, the match against Team W, however, would be pretty interesting. With Isagi having Metavision and winning their past games, this would lead to Kuon not having to betray Team Z. And without Team Z being on the verge of losing, Chiguri wouldn't awaken and we wouldn't see his weapon. But this game would still be pretty one-sided in favor of Team Z, as Isagi heavily reached the Wanama brothers' place. Lastly, the match between Team Z and Team V. The match between the wits of Isagi and Ryo would surely be interesting. In this game, we were able to see Nagi evolve and act on his own after seeing Ryo get locked up by this dude. However, due to Isagi's Metavision and amazing plays, we get to see Ryo evolve instead when it comes to his playmaking, giving Team Z a harder time to win. Although, we eventually see Isagi's Metavision overpower Ryo as it is miles above his sense of vision. Isagi then positions himself to receive a pass from Bachira and scores the game-winning goal against Team V. Ryo then aspires to become a better player, and Nagi once again is enticed to play with Isagi in the future. I will be ending the video here for now. Just let me know if you would want me to create a part 2 for this video. What do you think would have happened if Isagi had Metavision from the start? And if you have any scenarios that you would want me to cover, let me know down in the comments. Have you ever wondered what would have happened if Itoshi Sai chose Isagi over Shido to play for the Japan's U20 team? Check this video out right here. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content just like this. Thank you for watching.